Putting in customization fields for your template styles is a two-step process. First, you're going to need to edit your XML file. And by editing your XML file, you'll make an interface show up inside of the template styles automatically. And then the second thing you're going to need to do is edit your index.php file to take the data that was generated when somebody entered some information into that template styles form and then incorporate that into your web page. And that's what I'm going to be covering over the next 3 videos. So first, let's take a look at what we need to do with the XML file. I'm going to start by opening up my template details.xml file, which is part of my Kinetico folder. So if you're navigating from your main file structure, go to your www or your htdocs folder. Inside of that, find the templates folder, find your folder for your website, which I've called mine Kinetico, and then find template details.xml and go ahead and open up that file. So this is my Kinetico XML file that we created many videos ago. The next thing I'm going to open is here under Protostar once again. I'm going to open up the template details.xml file here associated with the Protostar template as well. And once again, that's from your www or your htdocs folder. You're going to go to templates, you're going to go to Protostar and look for template details.xml. And I'm going to double click on that to open that. When we created our original XML file, we created it from this Protostar template details XML file. And down here at the bottom of the page, there is this whole chunk of code down here where it starts with config. And I said this has to do with template styles and customizing them. And we erased it all from our XML file. So in fact, if you switch over to our XML file for the Kinetico site, you'll see that that whole chunk of code is missing here. Now we're going to bring some of that back again. So the two things that I'd like to have happen is, I'd like to have the person who's working on a template style be able to configure a background color for the header, and I'd like them to be able to upload a logo. Fortunately, both of those things are present here inside of the Protostar template, so we can just copy and paste the code from here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start copying here at line 49, where it says config, and I'm going to go all the way down here to line 101 where it says /config. Controller Command C to copy from template details.xml here in the Protostar template, and you can close that XML file. And now in the Kinetico XML file, here at line 27, I'm going to go ahead and paste in all of that code from Protostar. Now there's only 2 of these fields that I want to have for my particular template. I'm going to use this template color item here, and I'm going to use the logo file item here. So I don't need this one here called field name. I can go ahead and get rid of that. I don't need this one called site title. I don't need the one here called site description. And I don't need the Google font, and I don't need these 2 options. There we go. So I'm going to get rid of all of that. And I don't need fluid container. And I don't need these 2 options down here either. I don't need the /field. So you should be very careful, of course, with your XML opening and closing tags. Any mistakes you make here will be picked up by Joomla, and you'll get some sort of horrible error on your website, like potentially the front end of the website won't even load if your XML file is not formed correctly. So be very careful about deleting those tags. So the field tag opens here and it closes with the / down here. Once again, it opens here and closes with the / here. Here's field set opening and close. Here's fields opening and close. Here's config opening and close. And then that extension tag matches the extension tag up here at line 3. So this little bit of code that I have here now, let's focus on that. So first of all, the first field here at line 30 is field name of template color. That name is actually going to become something we'll use in the index.php file. It's going to be a color, that's the type that it's been assigned, and we have a default value here, 08C. What I would like to have is my default green value from my header as my default color for this particular item. So if I look in my custom style sheet, back at the top of the document, here is the background color for header. I'm just going to go ahead and copy that, and I'm going to paste that in place of the 08C, which is my default color. Then you see these 2 items here on line 31 and 32 for label and description, and it looks like this funny TPL_Protostar_color_label. These are fields that go with language files. And the idea here is that since Protostar is a template that's going to ship all over the world, It's part of Joomla. It needs to support literally dozens and dozens of languages. There is actually a separate file where you can put in text, and that text can be translated, and then depending on which language you're working with, the translated text will load into those places. In my case, the only people who are working on the back end of this website are people who are going to be working in English. So I'm just going to erase that template protostar color label, and I'm going to put in instead header background color. This is the text that's going to show up next to the box on my style screen. And then the description, I can just say, enter the hex code for your header background color. Likewise, here on the second field name called logo file, I have the same language file issue here. So I'm going to say, instead of template protostar logo label, make sure you keep your quotes. I'm going to call this logo upload. And then the description will be upload your logo here. Okay, so that's all I've done. I've just taken some code out of protostar. I've changed a few of the variables, and now I'm going to say file save. If I go now to the front end of my website, I'm going to refresh. It's still here. That's a good thing. That probably indicates that my XML is well formed. And now I'm going to flip over to the back end of the website, and I'm going to go to Extensions, Template Manager. And let's just look at any one of these Kinetico style instances. And I'm just going to click on the English one here. And if I go to Options, look, I actually have the interface now for changing my header background color and for uploading a logo. However, just because these fields exist doesn't mean that they do anything. And in fact, they do nothing at the moment. We've put in the information in the XML file, which then Joomla renders here into the form that you need to change the background color and upload the logo, but they're not connected now to the index.php file. And I'm going to show you how to do that in the next video.